Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See what I'm saying? On-chain revolution. Guns. Boom.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel, cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the On-Chain Hour, and X is down. I realized how much I count on X to be my everything. I mean, seriously, my research is on X. Everything's on X. I don't know what to do when X is down. And obviously, you know, we're a show that goes live on X Monday to Friday. Today, it is not letting us send to X. So if you are from X and you're coming over to our YouTube for the first time, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Really appreciate that for sure. This market sucks. You know, in the beginning of our intro, when the guy throws his laptop, it's kind of how I feel. It's kind of how I feel right now. And I keep thinking about changing that to some guy being excited, but this market doesn't have me excited. There's nothing about this market that has me excited right now, especially when it comes to the majors. There's you know stuff happening in the Launchpad sector with some AI stuff that is looking interesting, but it for me it's like I don't even know why I even go over there, right? Like I definitely am going to just code this weekend, vibe code, I guess you would say, create some stuff, but I don't know. It just feels so defeating right now. Let me know how you guys feel. Are you guys feeling the same way? I mean, this head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin, it does look like we're about to see 76,000, honestly. And, you know, if we see that in February or March, that could be pretty devastating. But then we could, you know, have that 2020 build up to where we do have an all-time high in, you know, November, December area. I don't know. This market has just been one of those markets that is every single time that you get excited, they dump the price, right? We're seeing the DXY right now get back to 99. I mean, that's if you guys know, watch the show, I've been saying for a long time, I need the DXY to get below 95. Where is the money coming from going into the DXY, right? DXY is a basket of goods that make up the dollar, right? So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, what is being sold down to get the dollar up? And that's kind of bothering me. Is it new money just coming in that they're printing and they're just keeping in the dollar right now and their global liquidity is moving up? Probably. That's like the only thing that I can think about. We do have Bitcoin dominance getting back to almost 60, which sucks because, you know, we need that to drop. So it's just not a good time. It's not a good time to be in crypto right now. And I'm sure you guys feel it. I'm sure you guys know exactly that. But if you do push through this time and just keep your DCA strategy going, you're going to win. And that's the hardest part right now. But I'm curious, what are you guys buying? What are you guys buying in the chat? What are you guys thinking about? Is there anything you're DCAing this weekend? I would love to know. Put it in the chat. Really, the comments today, guys. We need them. We need the comments today. But yeah, because market sucks. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about, though. We're going to get into some interactive brokers now. Lets you send USDC to fund your account, which I think is absolutely insane. RLUSD and PayPal USD coming next week. We're seeing, you know, like I said, a meme coin go absolutely ballistic. It's called Gastown, and it's all by this vibe coder slash, I guess he's a coding genius, but he's using Claude to help him. He's maxing out 3 Claude accounts, and then somebody created this coin for him. And on Bags, you just give the fees to the Twitter account, and he was very happy to accept those fees. And then he starts talking about how crypto is cool. Yeah, it's really, really awesome to kind of see. But Bags leading the meme coins right now, so we're gonna get into that too. But let's get today's show started. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling, bro? Is X down bothering you?
It is weird to feel disconnected from X. You know, Elon does want it to be the everything app, and you know, from your intro, it seems like it is the everything app for you, for sure.
Seriously.
I mean, you definitely feel disconnected from the space whenever X is down, which is, you know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? But in general, you know, I feel okay with the price action that's happening right now. It's kind of playing out like I said, right? Like build up and then Friday pull back before possible Sunday evening for Bitcoin, and then, you know, potentially challenge that $100,000 mark next week could be on the table. But for the midterm like area, you know, that's where it could be. Well, I would say near term as well, because you know it could happen in February or maybe March, to where a pullback that could be pretty intense could happen for sure. It's definitely out there when you zoom out, that possibility. But first, you know, teasing that $100,000 mark makes the most sense.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get into our headline here. Bitcoin's biggest test of 2026. Can BTC finally smash 100K or get rejected here? And this really just comes down to my head and shoulders here. And it's something I've been showing in the chart all week. I just think that this is the case right now. Whether we get to, 98, 99. So Benjamin Cohen, I'm not, I'm never going to bet against him anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like I stopped betting against him in like September of last year. And, it's just been, you just kind of give in and say, okay, you're right. You're going to continuously be right because you take macro factors into effect. While crypto guys don't do that. We don't really look at macro factors the way he does. And he's saying that he said it for a long time. It's going to be 99K. And then, it's going to be a higher low. And he's kind of pointing to this, right? If you take his analysis right now, it's just, I mean, technically, we haven't broke trend at all, right? I mean, if we come back down here, so this is the trend we've been on, we definitely broke trend. But if he's saying we're going to come down, potentially even we get back under here, that could be pretty devastating.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty clear break of trend there, though.
Yeah.
That's what makes me feel like we will visit, that $100,000 mark, is because to break trend and fake out for the break, I believe that happens sooner than that, right? Sooner than what I feel like you can always just move that line up. You know,
Well,
what I'm saying?
I'm just saying if he's saying this is a higher low, then he's saying this is going to be the trend. You know what I mean?
But if you go back to where the trend was before it was broken, then it is a clear break. You know what I mean? We haven't been to these price levels since mid-November. That's a clear break in my opinion. And I don't think it's, it's gone long enough to where I don't feel like it's a fake out just yet. Maybe in 3 weeks we'll see more of that, right? But I do think it goes up a little bit further before it pulls back down. That's just me kind of zooming out and then seeing some of these other timelines and what I'm getting, the data I'm getting from like the indicators and stuff from those. But regardless, I do see a pullback happening, probably in maybe February. And if it gets extended out, that means that second shoulder is going to be, it could pop if that's the case. If the pullback happens in like March, then we could see like a, building out something more symmetrical to the previous shoulder. And that would be interesting because then we're talking about Bitcoin getting into like 110 and stuff like that before a strong pullback in March. So, we're kind of playing this day by day, but as of right now, I am in the camp that, I do think we see 100K in the near future. I could be wrong, but that's what I think happens.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that. I think we could potentially see 9999. But maybe
wow, that would be crazy.
I'm just saying like we could get up that. You got to remember that's not actually crazy because it's very common. A lot of people put their stop losses right there. I mean, they take profits and stuff like that, and they're short orders right at that psychological number. So that's actually very common.
Yeah, but it does usually, quickly flicker over and then come back a lot of times too, So, but I see what you're saying. You're talking about the resistance there building up and not allowing, sustained price action above it. That definitely is on the table as well, because it is a psychological number. We know that from the first time it attempted to cross over 100K ever. And then, staying above that was a little bit of a task as well. Now we're going to see what happens here as it's gonna try, at least I believe, to take another stab at it.
Yeah, I think the real test is holding this 75,000. I mean, this is just, it's kind of been something over here. It was the original breakout back in November of last year for the Trump pump. And, it did come back down here and test it. And then I do think we come back down and test it again. I think we come back down. We finish this head and shoulders here, whether that's January or February. And before we come back up here potentially in March and May. I think there's a lot more pain ahead for January and February, especially with the fighting between Powell and Trump now. And Powell's right now, he's all about legacy. Like, he doesn't give a shit. He's a very rich man. He's gonna die in a few years. Like, I mean, he's very old and frail. So I'm just saying, but I'm just being honest, my honest opinion. And it's just one of those things where, like, he knows he doesn't have like 10 years left in him. So, and he's gonna retire here.
Woo! Goodness.
Did you see the man? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I do see him. But like 10 years today, I feel like is more common. Like in the 70s, like people are living to about 80 to 90.
I don't know anyone 80 years old.
Really?
Do you know anyone who's 80 years old?
I mean, yeah, I hear a lot of but I mean, it has been shown that like the life expectancy has increased, just because, medicine and stuff and that type of thing. But he does look very stressed all the time. And that factors into, how the end of your life probably is going to go. Right. So, if it is like how you played out, I'll take that all day though. I mean, you're talking about like January and February getting, slapped, but then March, that strong rise up. I think most people will take that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this happens though too. I do think we come down here, sideways, and then we kind of see this upper momentum. This is kind of everyone preparing for the new Fed, right? I think you're going to get, in March and April, you're going to get people pouring into the markets for a lot of different reasons. But I think the main reason is going to be because of liquidity about to re-enter with the new Fed chairman. I think that we don't get a cut in January. I think we don't get a cut in March. But I think everyone's going to start looking towards getting cuts in May, June, July, August, September, and maybe even starting quantitative easing, because a lot of people have been saying, the job of the new Fed chairman, as soon as he punches in, is going to be quantitative easing. That's going to be the number one thing. So if we do get that in June, which kind of makes sense, right? Because, back in 2021, in December, we stopped quantitative easing, and it took 6 months to enter quantitative tightening. So this time around, we stopped quantitative tightening in December, and it could take 6 months before we gotta get back into quantitative easing. So, which is exactly June. So I'm actually looking forward to QE starting in June, but I don't think markets are going to be at all-time high when that starts. I think that, for the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, gold, silver, everything besides crypto is at an all-time high. I think we see some pain, maybe going into June here. Hopefully it doesn't affect crypto as much either, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think also the next selection of the chair is very, very important too. Obviously he's going to want to get someone that's probably a yes man. But that system is extremely, extremely resilient, like the legacy system. I mean, you see it even in like the crypto infrastructure bill. You see it with just globalization. America has been the global dominant leader in finance, anything to do with money, really, right? Making it. And, you can go back to BlackRock and all these things. And so it's going to be, I think, important to not have someone that just going to do everything you say, but not be easily influenced by those higher powers as well as when they get in there, because money can do a lot of things. Now, with that being said, you know, heading into the summer, I do agree. I think that's like perfect setup, like towards the like end of the spring, you know, and looking forward looking, and really the market that is screaming, you know, quantitative easing is needed is our market, because that's what's going to benefit the most, right? So I almost wonder if we see this like intense flip of, you know, asset markets in terms of, you know, liquidity and capital flowing into and out of. Obviously in TradFi, some of these more speculative assets might benefit as well. You know, we'll see if that happens, but yeah, that could be a really good setup heading into the summer. And then obviously the Fed chair change. And then what does that look like for the rest of the year? You know, right now, I think this current administration is probably like double timing, trying to make the American people happy for the midterms, right? So you do that by putting the economy in a situation to where you can feel the liquidity flowing around.
Yeah, 100%. One problem I hear macro guys talking about is Jerome Powell. You know, yes, he's not going to be Fed chairman, but he's still going to be on the board. So and how much influence does he carry, right? So if Trump puts in a yes man, like you said, or someone incompetent who's just going to listen to what Trump says all the time, because that's what Trump wants, how much power does the rest of the voters have? Jerome Powell, how many side meetings is Jerome Powell going to pull them into and say, hey, we need to vote this way? Because at the end of the day, it's a voting party. The Fed chair does have, you know, usually has a lot of say in that, but at the end of the day, it's where the votes lie.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting as well. And then also, I mean, like I said, there's so much that goes into like the Fed and its involvement and its associations and all that stuff. So it's not like, you know, huge fund managers don't have any influence over. I'm not saying they call the Fed and say, hey, pal, do this, do that. But, you know, the Fed dictates the banks in terms of what the price they can put out there for their loans. You know, these huge fund managers of how much they can earn for their clients and accounts and all these things. And remember, like there's fiduciary like obligations from publicly traded companies too, right? So there's so much things that get tied into that. And you almost wonder like how effective can just putting someone in there to do what you want to do even is. Like, are they going to be able to do that kind of stuff, right? Obviously they're saying now because they're lobbying for the job, right? Everybody wants that job. But at the end of the day, we know that the digital asset market needs to be in that environment, or at least something different than what we have been in, right?
No, 100%, 100%. I personally talk about, you know, a lot of this year kind of being like 2020. That's because of Benjamin Cohen, right? He said last year was 2019, this year is 2020. So this is what 2020 looked like, right? So 2020 was from right here to about right here, right? So this is 2020 right here, and you know, obviously,
Pain.
if you take out COVID, right, it was kind of like an upward trend, right?
But I
If
don't
you
think
just
you can
remove,
take COVID out because of the fact that like so much liquidity got pushed
yeah,
into the
I'm just
markets.
saying though, if you just say like, you know, this you know, if you just take this out of that, right, and to say just went sideways here, it was still up to the right? It did take, you know, the entire year pretty much to kind of get up to that point, right? So if
But
we
I
don't
almost
have,
wonder if like we didn't have the rescue, you know, extra liquidity and rate cuts, if we would have even gone up that same way. I mean, the 4-year cycle says yes, there would have been some prep leading into 2021 for sure,
yeah,
because you could see that I think towards the end of 2016 and stuff. Maybe I think so. But like that huge dip there, it was just offsetted by all the liquidity that was pushed into the world, really, right? And so of course like crypto was going to benefit from that. So I think it's tough to say, you know, that like 2020 can play out the same way, because we don't have those same situations. Now, a situation that could occur is you know, they get hyper aggressive in trying to put liquidity into the markets, right? So, you know, obviously I don't think it could come close to what they put in from 2020, but if they can put in even like 25% of that, like, you know, that would still do a lot of, you know, upwards price action, I think, for the overall markets.
Yeah, well, in December of 2019, they did stop quantitative tightening, right? So liquidity was coming into the markets regardless. To your point, it might not have been what,
no,
you know,
it wouldn't have been.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that, right? Because at the time, you know, we were almost headed into a recession anyway. That's kind of what Benjamin Cohen was saying. He said it was times were getting kind of tough with the job market. So we don't know. Yeah, obviously it would have been
less intense.
Maybe not. Yeah, 100% less intense, but like still, if we could have still seen.
I think we would have
proper
saw
liquidity, but we probably wouldn't have been destroyed. Like we might not have saw the huge, insane upward momentum, but we also wouldn't have seen the huge downward momentum either, right? So it might have just been something like maybe we saw, you know, 40K Bitcoin, 50K Bitcoin, or something like that. I don't know, right? But who knows how much liquidity they would have put in? Who knows how bad the job market actually was? Because it was technically reset completely, right? So we don't really know. But the point is, you know, we stopped quantitative tightening late 2019, and maybe we're going to find out right now what would have happened anyway, right? Maybe we just don't get this intense cycle. But if this is the case, we're going to have a really good 2027 regardless, as liquidity enters the market.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there will be like some sort of like just obviously you have to say less intense of ups and downs. You know, I think that's a fair thing to say there, because yeah, we did have our October 10th situation, but it, you know, COVID was a different beast, even though that was the most liquidations I think we ever had. But remember, leverage wasn't as prominent in those days as it is now. You know, it was still being used back then, but it's not like today. But yeah, I mean, that scenario could play out, right? That I think the one fact that just got to remember is that like we are in kind of a similar setup, ending QT, and then eventually once they flip the switch, we'll be in QE. And how is that going to look? You know, and I think that could be a kind of a grind up situation, and then we see some really hot sectors really thrive from our space.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of like looking at this chart. I kind of think that, you know, it without all that extra QE, maybe we would have topped out at like 40K Bitcoin, and this would have kind of been the top, but we wouldn't have saw the drawdown. You know, it wouldn't have been so drastic. It would have been a 50% drawdown instead of, you know, 80% drawdown, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Potentially we could have did something like this. Maybe we just go up here sideways and then kind of come down here before, you know, and then, but that wouldn't have caused us to lose a year in the cycle either, because now that we pushed back a full
the business cycle. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get into the crypto price action and crypto bubbles. Before we do, we do have a couple comments here. My man Rita says GMGM Extreme is down. Yes, Extreme is down this morning. And Jason says GMGM XEN yet. LOL. Shout out to you, my friend. And all you guys who are pre-showers, appreciate you guys as well.
Yep. It's actually back up because I connected it manually. So if you guys are on the X side, share that space, guys, so you can help us out to let everybody know it's back up. But yeah, before we get into the price action on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on, all that great stuff. On X, share the space, Abstract, Pump, and Zora streams what's up to our communities there. We appreciate you guys a lot. And then, of course, Twitch and Rumble as well. And don't forget Spotify. Let's jump into some price action on this lovely Friday. Quiet, but lovely Friday morning. You can see here on the hour chart, man, Bitcoin really wants to stay in sell pressure, right? But I did talk about this potential setup for a Friday. I said, you know, maybe the price kind of peels back to 95, 94 range, and we end the day in between 94 and 96, and then the weekend plays out, and then Sunday evening we could get that, you know, pop back up if the price action is going to play out the way I think it can, you know, and that would tease that $100,000 mark next week. But yeah, if you look here, you can see we rose all the way up to it looks like 98K on Wednesday, and then kind of hovered yesterday in this range of 90, 97 all the way down to 95. And now we took another kind of level down, right? Makes sense. Friday's never a great day for, price action. You know what I mean? Now, every once in a while, you have an anomaly situation to where you get a little surprised that Bitcoin's popping on a Friday. But yeah, so you can see on the MACD, this indicator is saying, hey, look, we want to continue this sell pressure session. And so, even though we are in this hour candle that's green, don't be shocked if we go kind of sideways with maybe even a little bit further down. Maybe we tease into 93,000. We will see, but I don't think we have like this extreme bleed out today or anything. I don't think we break down below 90 or anything like that. So that is my mindset, at least on Bitcoin for today. So for the next 2 to 4, 6 hours, watch and see what happens, how Bitcoin responds to the stochastic RSI as well. It just got into oversold territory. So does it, want to hang out here for a long time? We have been down here quite a bit, barely being up into the overbought territory. So does it really want to hang out here? And if one thing that we can see is if we see correlation with the MACD, this fast line starts to point downwards, then we're probably in a little bit trouble. That means that we're probably going to be heading towards that 93.5, 93,000. So something to keep your mind on, but again, not something I'm worried a ton about, because I'm expecting kind of this peel back to happen over late last night and early today. And then second half of today is going to be interesting, kind of heading into the night. And then Saturday, to me, I just kind of put that to the side because I feel like there's just always kind of just lower volume, thinner liquidity, stuff like that. And then Sunday, we shall see what the plan is for next week. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin on the hour chart. Little chop with a little downside again, kind of from yesterday's thesis as well. You can see on the 4 hour, we are in, sell pressure. It's not super intense, but it is, strong. It's consistent. You can see right here, right? So this kind of plays into the theory that we do see the chop with a little bit of downside, and then we'll see what happens over the weekend, where it's more specifically Sunday evening. But it is kind of setting itself up. So you start breaking this down over the second half of today. Saturday, it's going to go a little bit back and forth. And then you start to see this be a little bit weaker, possibly Sunday morning. And then maybe we play into a, Sunday evening situation. So that's what we got there for Bitcoin as well in the 4 hour. And then the daily has an extension on the buy side. So it's been a little tricky, because if you think about this week, it's been like, to start it off, Bitcoin's looking aggressive and it's been looking a little froggy. It's jumping. You can see price action go up, and then towards the middle of the week, exhaustion from the upside. Then you start to see a little bit down. So now on the daily chart, you see these indicators still showing it's in buy pressure session, but been kind of, chopped at, right? It's like starting to put cracks a little bit here. And so, if my situation scenario plays out, though, Sunday evening we do get this kind of prop back up and leading into next week, then this will get extended. So today's price action will probably keep this looking like it's gonna continually break down, and then Saturday will be more of like sideways, like it's gonna close up, and then Sunday we'll see what happens there, because like I said, if that plays out, then this will open back up and have another extension. Now we'll see how that plays out. The reason why I also think that's going to happen is because I don't think we broke this resistance level here necessarily for no reason. I don't think we did that just to come straight back down, but anything can happen with crypto and Bitcoins specifically, right? So that is the daily as well. Taking a look at Ethereum here on the hour chart. So we did have this interesting like head and shoulders kind of play situation on the hour, but it didn't play out that way, right? So we saw it kind of reversed out into like a sideways, and now it's starting to kind of go down. So it's almost like a weird Bart Simpson that didn't get the back of his head haircut, right? So we'll see if we do get that, right? But I'm not so sure we will, right? So we'll see how we play out today. The extension on the sell pressure is definitely there, so we could see kind of like a little bit of a stair step to the downside for today. We are sitting at 32.82. So yeah, it's definitely looking to Bitcoin. Hey, what's going to happen today? Let's figure things out type situation for ETH here. And then you can see on the 4 hour, very similar situation to Bitcoin as well. Sell pressure is consistent, not crazy strong, but it's definitely consistent there. And then you go to the daily, and on the daily, it has this extension of the buy pressure, right? So we'll see Sunday evening if this either closes up, and then that means I'm wrong, and then pretty much everything's going to start to crash on, for next week, or this extends and it opens up, and we'll see possibly, trying to head to, for Ethereum, whatever that resistance level was, like the psychological one, right? Whether that's 3,500 or 3,600 right here, it seems like that was this is the next level of resistance, because it didn't pop above this area, and it does follow Bitcoin in terms of the last time it did have higher price action than 3,350 was mid-November, right? And so then this is that next level of resistance, is the 3,600. So that's the next challenge. So Bitcoin's 100K, and then you look at Ethereum, 3,600 is what we need to get past. So yeah, that is Bitcoin, Ethereum for you guys. Ethereum's, in my opinion, going to follow Bitcoin. So Bitcoin decides it wants to go sideways downwards, ETH is probably going to do a little bit of that. And that's where I'm at with that. You look at the crypto bubbles for the alt market here in the top 100, you got River up 16%, Dash coin. So Dash is something that Shizzy and I have been kind of thinking about as, hey, is this going to be the next privacy rotation? And I was in the Ordinal Hive space yesterday, and that was a source of our topic as well that we were discussing, is that Zcash obviously had their run in the summer of last year, kind of extended into August, September, I think maybe October as well. Then you talk about Monero rotation for this year to start the year, very aggressive to the upside. So are people looking at Dash as that next rotation? I believe so. I believe they are looking towards it. Is it guaranteed this is going to happen? No, but you can probably try to put a plan together for something like this to roll out, right? You see Dash up 16% here on the day, Midnight up 4%, IP protocol, Story protocol up about 5%, Sky up 6.4%, and then River up 16% as well. The BitGet token up 1.1%, and then almost everything else you can see right here, about 90%, 85% pullbacks, I should say. And it looks like it's about 2 to 4% on average. Polygon pulling back about 8%. That's interesting.
It's because they laid off like half their staff.
They're like, the remaining staff just vibe codes. I'm just kidding.
Well,
but
it's weird because in TradFi, when a company lays off their the part of their staff, it normally what happens is that it goes up, because now their C is less less overhead, and it's just more profit for the company. But in crypto, it's the opposite. It's like, what are they doing over there? You know what I mean? It's like, it's scary.
Yeah. And then over here in the top 100 to 200, some of these projects that are winning today, you got Merlin Chain up 6%. You got AXS up about 14%, Track up 11%, Wall up 5%, Pulse X up 2%, Zen up, not Zen XEzen, but ZEN up to 12.2%. And then pretty much everything else is pulled back about 4 to 6, a little bit higher in this top 200 area here. But yeah, it's a response to Bitcoin and Ethereum type situation. Okay, they want to pull back. We're going to kind of chill out as well, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's just not having a good time for sure. Let's get into some of our stories here. So Interactive Broker, they are huge, right? Interactive Brokers, they're a major electronic retail and institutional brokerage, has introduced 24/7 account funding using USDC, a move that will unlock around the clock trading. So they're not normally a company that trades 24/7, but they are now, and they couldn't do that before because there was no way to on ramp and off ramp prior to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But now they are doing 24/7 funding with USDC, and to roll out Ripple and PayPal next week. So RLUSD and PYUSD will be eligible. So right now, and there was somebody on a timeline, I forget who did it. They sent $500 as a test to their Interactive Brokers account, and it was funded in about, as they say, 2-3 minutes. He had his money there. So Interactive Brokers is using crypto or stablecoins to keep up with their exchange, getting 24 hours. So you can now withdraw and deposit stablecoins right from your crypto wallet. So pretty nuts.
Yeah. Interesting that RLUSD, and then PYUSD were the two that were kind of named in this. I almost feel like they probably jumped at this, right? It's probably like, trying to get as much in the headlines as possible type situation, because Circle and Tether, they don't worry too much about those kind of things because they're already dominant. But I'm curious about your opinion. Is that why you're hearing about those two here? Is that they're just kind of be like, okay, any type of partnerships we can get type of thing?
Yeah, it does seem like, Ripple wants to be, a stablecoin company, and, Ripple with Brad Garlinghouse, they probably, give them a call, say, yo, like, we want to be a part of this, because I'm sure they heard about this months ago. This isn't something you just wake up and everyone's like shocked by it, right? It's something that is planned, and I'm sure that it hits their desk. It's probably Brad Garlinghouse calling up one of his old friends or something. So, yo, let's get RLUSD, but RLUSD, it's not on XRP. It's on, you know what I mean? It's on Base, Ethereum, and Solana. That's where it's coming from. It's not coming from.
What about
XRP.
the
It's another way.
the EVM side of XRP? Do they have it on there?
It's not really being used at
Yeah.
all. So no, they're not. Interactive brokerage is not allowing you to send it from that. It needs to be on Base, Solana, or Ethereum. So that's the only 3 blockchains that they're taking withdrawals from. So it does look like, I think Ripple could be an amazing stablecoin company. I really do.
So you think
they got to get away?
They got potential.
I'm bullish on Ripple. Very bullish on Ripple. I'm very bearish on XRP. In the sense of Ripple kind of breaking away from XRP being, their leading way of making money. Because right now their biggest money maker is selling down XRP monthly. I mean, it is. If you look at the company Ripple, it's their biggest thing is selling XRP. That's the biggest way they make money. There are the other ways they're making money right now is, they're big advisors for license. They might be an advisor for interactive brokers. Right? Yeah. They might be an advisor for who knows, but that's one of their biggest, but still 10% of their business, while selling down XRP is 90% of their business. But RLUSD could be something. I think as a stablecoin company, I'm very bullish on Ripple, and I hope that it does become one of the larger ones.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because it's almost kind of like the opposite of what MicroStrategy and BitMine does, right? It's like they buy more Bitcoin or Ethereum while Ripple just continually sells XRP and has been doing that for a long time, right? Obviously, different business models and all that stuff, but I mean,
XRP just showed up in a wallet for them. XRP showed up in a wallet for them one day. They didn't have to work for it. So when you don't have to work for something, when you don't have to buy it, you see it as less value.
Yeah, I think they worked in terms of like, making it popular because they were one of the winners of the early people that got there. So the marketing stuff that they put in, that's definitely counts to make, the token successful. But after that, it's definitely the reward was like way outweighed like the work for sure. But it's not easy to do that too. Like, you have to.
My point though was that it just showed up in a wallet one day. It wasn't like they didn't have to go out and buy it like MicroStrategy. They didn't have to go buy it like BitMine, right? And stuff like that. So I just don't you think they could feel as different when something's just sitting in a wallet and it just appears, magically appears?
Yeah, but obviously, like it has to have value, right? And so because you could say that about Charlie Lee as well. Like whenever
100% Charlie Lee.
Whenever he was, they mined it. They mined the Litecoin or whatever, but it was still like, like they set it up, right? So it's kind of like that approach. But yeah, I mean, Ripple themselves, they're obviously connected with a lot of people in the TradFi industry and the banking system as well, actually. And so I do think that they will probably be continually growing their brand. We'll see what happens with XRP. Obviously, crazy XRP army. Shout out to you guys. You guys have been doing it forever.
So. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think XRP is the greatest meme coin that's ever existed. Like it's the greatest community coin up there with GME. I think GME and XRP are, two of the same things. It's just, they both are just way overvalued, but they have these giant communities that really back them in every way. And they're both eventually potentially go to be something else, right? I think XRP can eventually become something else. I don't think they're going to get away from it saying it's changing the banking system and just being more of just being okay as like a Doge asset, right? So, but the Ripple, the company, I'm very bullish on Ripple. I think, once they, sell down this XRP for the next 10 years, I think they can kind of get away from it a little bit. I think that's very good for them, honestly, getting away from XRP. All right, so once token received is automatically converted to US dollars and credited to the account. So that's kind of going back to interactive brokers there. But speaking of XRP, XRP leads South Korea in 2025 trading volume with over 1 trillion in processed on Upbit alone. So XRP is being looked at in South Korea as, I mean, they're buying it up, man. They're buying it. They're selling it. They love trading it there. And you got to remember, it did go from 30 cents in 2024 to almost $3 in 2025. So it definitely had a huge year last year. South Korea, do you think they understand what's going on with XRP, or do you think they're just buying it up as a meme coin?
I mean, I don't think it matters at this point. You know what I mean? Because it's reached a certain level of, success and community size that, like, I think that it's gonna continually live on and it will grow over time, right? Now, how fast will it grow? I think that's the bigger question. Because at the end of the day, these meme community coins or whatever, people are going to call XRP, whatever they think it is, right? And then, but one thing for sure, it's definitely a community type of coin for sure. Can it continually grow? Because it's grown so much over time. And if so, then yeah, I think this, Asia, Korea, and Japan both love XRP.
Yeah, which is nuts. It's crazy. Do you think that Dogecoin is? I didn't get the information on this, but do you think Dogecoin is like over there as well?
I think people do like Doge, but XRP, even though it's more of a community style coin now, it's still taken a little bit more seriously just because of the past kind of buildup of it. It was never looked at as like a joking token type of thing. So I think that Doge is probably a little less on the desirable list than XRP for those two countries. Maybe the rest of Asia though, because China loves Doge. There's different kind of preferences, I think, to different parts of Asia as well. We do know that like Japan loves kind of XRP, and in Cardano too, they were really big on for a while.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how there's different preferences just to different areas over there.
Yep, for sure. A Polymarket trader as Cetro turned $12 into $100K by compounding Bitcoin prediction. This is really interesting. I was reading about this morning. This is kind of what he does, right? He wins, all of his trades, but all of his trades are pretty much the same. Bitcoin up or down by January 15th, Bitcoin up or down by December 10th, Bitcoin up or down by November 30th. So he just kind of picks the Bitcoin up and down stuff, right? But and all the time. And what he does, I don't know how he's so accurate with this. He has 33 predictions and he's won all 33. Do you think he's using some type of bot, or do you think that he's just really good at predicting whether Bitcoin's going to be up or down by a certain date and time?
I think that he's using some sort of algorithm probably to be that accurate. But there's more and more people coming out like this, that are learning how to build their own kind of advantages. At the end of the day, man, like look at the people that are successful in different areas of the space.
Yeah.
They just focus on beating the human player, so it's like you're not going to be able to beat the institutional player, but you can beat the human player, and eventually there's gonna be enough human players to where the institutions would probably share some with people that can build tools to do that. I feel like that's kind of how meme coin trading got to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at this, right? So he started with $12 November 12th, then 24, and then he had 79, and then I guess he only put 40 in for that one, and then 101, 106, 2,000. So he started to get some real money here, 2,000 and then 24,000, and now he's betting 51,000. So he's up $104,000 from an account that started with $12.
Yeah, just doubling.
Absolutely incredible. Shout out to this guy, or whatever he's using bot wise or whatever. But I thought that was interesting. Polymarket has trimmed, an incredible amount of their workforce amid $250 million stablecoin payments pivot. So they were paying out $250 million last year in stablecoins, and now Wait, what? Yeah, workforce mid $250 million. So I did have the article here, but yeah, so basically they're basically going out and they're trimming their stuff. Why does that keep going away?
Wait, $250 million was their payroll? That's crazy.
Yearly, yeah.
That's crazy. That's so much money.
But yeah, so they're trimming it down. They fired some staff, and they're gonna keep pushing forward. So
I mean, if they have 250 people, that's $1 million per person.
no, their workforce was huge. I mean, completely massive, like all worldwide.
So just a bunch of affiliates and stuff like that type of thing, or like
Marketing and just stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's just basically, yeah. Well, look, I mean, it obviously worked because everybody knows about Polygon. Okay. I thought for some reason I thought you said Polymarket.
I might have said Polymarket from the last one, but because it kept doing that stupid thing where it's like 10 seconds.
That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense to me now.
Coinbase has reportedly begun offering stock trading to select users, and it moves toward an all-in-one investment platform. So they want to be the E-Trade, and they're going to be tokenizing everything and everything in perps. So Coinbase officially starting to onboard some clients here for TradFi.
Yeah, I think they're a really good entity to do that. I feel like they are trying to figure out where they fit, though, because right now they're obviously kind of going back and forth about this bill. They are a big part of the representation for the space, but then they do have a lot of relationships with entities within there. Because like the thing that kind of got me was like Circle, right? Like is on board with the legislation, and then Coinbase isn't, but then they have such a close partnership, and I'm just like, are they talking about this kind of stuff, right? But I assume that they would be one of the first entities to really have a robust product offering for stock trading.
Yeah, and what they want to do is they want to get all the USDC as much as possible, right? So all these pools are going to be backed with USDC. And what does that do? Well, that gives Coinbase the 4%. So Circle and Coinbase have a deal in place where they Circle says, hey, all the USDC that is on your platform, every dollar of it, we will give you that 4% yield that we're using for treasury bonds, right? 3-4%, whatever it ends up being. And Coinbase is like, hell yeah. So when it comes down to this deal with Congress and the Clarity Act, Coinbase is pretty much one of the only ones that are fighting for stablecoin yield, because if not, then they can't offer it to their clients, which means they can't make a percentage point or two on top of that. So if they're not allowed to offer their clients yield, that could really damper what they're doing here, and it might they might pivot away from just USDC only. But they want to fight for this because this is one of their biggest ways of making money. USDC is one of it's crazy to think about. Coinbase makes so much money because I think it's like 40% of the USDC is traded on Coinbase.
Yeah, and also you got to think about too, like it can mess up the flow of product flow just in general, because what's the standards going to be in the future? They're going to figure that out in terms of how much collateral is needed and all this stuff. But as of right now, they're doing a 1-to-1 for everything that they're doing, right? It's not fractionalized banking like the banking system does. But imagine a world to where they can encourage everyday people to put their USDC on Coinbase. Then if they are able to have a robust lending product offering as well out, then they can kind of use that, kind of like the banks do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. But then, like you said too, it's the interest earned. So there's multiple ways that they'll lose out if they aren't able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really just kills a whole part of the business model.
Yeah, but everyone else is like, yo, let's pass this damn act, dude. Like Gemini, Kraken, Robinhood. Robinhood's like, whatever, I can have people stake their Solana. People just want to come and want to stake their Solana. Like, that's what his biggest thing is. He was like, we're getting inquiries every single day about bigger companies not wanting to custody their own Solana, so they hold it on Robinhood. And they were like, yeah, we would love to stake this. And Robinhood's like, we would love to stake it for you and get a couple percentage points.
Yeah, no, I can see their perspective, but remember Coinbase filed for a banking license, right? So they are trying to be like a new neobank style approach to where, you know, a lot of that product offering does carry over, right? You know, in order to be able to have a lot of lending products and a huge clientele base for that, you got to have as much USDC available, you know, within your custody of that. And then again, it goes to the percentage points. So like they're trying to benefit like how Robinhood is and all that stuff as well. But then I think those other entities aren't focused on this possible huge lending product sector of their business like Coinbase is, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, but you know, Kraken has to, you know, I don't know, Kraken's not getting the same deal with USDC as Coinbase is. So they're just like, they're just like, whatever, we're not going to get the yield anyway. So
yeah.
And then we're gonna have to give them yield that, you know, we don't have that plan like they do. But moving along here. So yesterday, I think we covered it, but maybe not to an extent. But Nikita Beer says we are revising our developer API policies. We are no longer allowed dApps that reward users for posting on X, aka InfoFi. This has led to a tremendous amount of AI slop and reply spam on the platform. And the first comment here is Leonidas. He says, I'm glad InfoFi is banned, not because AI slop and bots. It's brought CT because its entire premise was that you should sell out your follower by promoting scammy projects. So, yeah, I don't know, Leon. I mean, all the scammy projects that, you know, are on Cato and stuff like that are down just as much as Dog. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just
no, some of them don't even exist anymore, I'm sure.
Not the Cato ones. Cato ones are I'm pretty sure that most of them are still around. But because it's not like, it's not complete slop. It's not like these complete rugs. It's like these projects. I mean, they're not, you know, they're not going to be huge.
Well,
one day,
I think I think he's talking about AI slop as the content that's being put out on X from the people that are trying to get.
Well, no, he says he's not because of the AI slop, but because CT is dumping on their followers.
Yeah, you know, I'm saying Nikita is probably talking when he's referring to AI slop. He's talking about the actual content that's being put out there because you know you can farm points by just putting a ton of just over and over being repetitive with it. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, Cato and Cookie DAO tokens fell over 15% after X's ban and move X's head of product, Nikki Beer, and said should improve user experience on the social platform. And then you had, you know, Yoo-Hoo comes out. I guess he's the CEO or something on the team there at Cato. And then Cookie DAO put out a thing basically saying, hey, we're going to be taking away our X product. So this guy Nikita just comes out and he destroys two businesses with a tweet. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about, you know, businesses creating for X and platforms like X that can just be completely destroyed after one tweet?
I mean, I do like the aspect of cleaning up crypto Twitter, but you know, some of these entities, you know, even though you know, there's in regular marketing for Web 2, there's like spammy stuff that gets put out there by legitimate, you know, marketing companies just because they're trying to put volume out there. So I do think that there should have been more warning and stuff like that. You could still roll it out, just warn them ahead of time, because what happened probably here is now that they have to figure out like what their new business model is, and you know, maybe some people are relying on their revenue.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people might be relying on their yaps. What are your yaps worth now, right? Like, some people accumulated tons of those things and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I just I think it's definitely needed. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but at the same time, it's like just crazy. I guess this happens on Facebook and Instagram too. People create businesses around, and then one day just wake up and they're banned, right? So
yeah.
But let's get into the next thing here, which is news from the trenches. So yesterday, I could not get away from hearing about gas or a gas town. So we're gonna get into this. Gas town, it got up to something crazy, like 40, 60 million or something Between there, I can't remember exactly the number. Yeah, it got over 60. It got up to 62, $63 million. Now down about 32. But it all is happening because of bags. So we did talk about Launchpads. We talked about yesterday how Bonk, I think, in my opinion, is really messing up by not doing the creator fees. And then you have Bags, who does, in my opinion, the creator fees the best, because you can create a coin for somebody and just attach that Twitter account, and then it's ready for them to claim whenever they're ready to claim it, or whenever they find out about it. So Gas or Gas Town was created by this guy, Stephen Yegge, and he's just he's been doing this for a long time. He's been in the industry for 40 years. He knew nothing about crypto. He was not a crypto guy, but he is somebody who has 3 Claude accounts where he pays $200 a month, and he's creating a swarm of robots. So how it works is you basically you start off with a mayor, and then you and the mayor, you guys keep creating more and more townspeople. And Gas Town has nothing to do with Ethereum gas. Is one of those things where it's just he's been creating this for months and months and months, and somebody created a token for him on Bags. And yesterday he came out and he wrote this awesome article, basically talking about how he wasn't really a big into crypto, but now he kind of sees its value and how much this has helped him. He made over $100,000 from this token in creator fees, and he's excited now. Potentially he can quit his job, because he does have a job right now, and do this full time and create cool shit.
Yeah, I feel like crypto is like really good at researching people that aren't associated with the space and then throwing a coin at them. And that's kind of what happened here. But hey, it's working. That coin got to what, 40 million that I last
60,
saw it at.
yeah.
So
yeah, I just looked at it. It went to 63 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. 63 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then
nuts.
and then What do you think about Bags though? So Ralph was the first one. Ralph kind of means it's like a loop that Claude does, and they call it Ralph Wiggums, because obviously we know who Ralph Wiggums is from Simpsons, and it's just he's not the brightest crown in the box, for sure, but like it's one of those, but it does this thing, and it's people created a token for it. And then the fee earner is this guy, Joffrey Hunt. Check out his accent. Yeah, he's in Ralph we trust. So yeah, this is the guy here for the Ralph token. But the people who created the Gas Town, they reached out to Geoff here, and he actually came out and supported it as well. And Ansem actually came out. You actually told me about this, and I researched it, and it's true. Came out early, talking about this gas token as well. But this one could really be a runner, dude. But this is creating a whole new meta right now. All these tokens right now are Claude based, right? Terra, Claude Memory, Ralph Wiggums, and Gas. It's time to get back in the trenches. What do you think? Start looking at some of these Claude tokens.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. They seem to be getting attention right now, and I haven't seen any tokens like this on Bags. So this is definitely huge for the Bags Launchpad. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because for a while they couldn't get past like $10 million tokens and stuff like that. So this is big for them.
Yep. So in the Gas Town, agents are assigned specific tasks and can pass work to each other. This is facilitated by Convoy system. So this guy, the creator of Gas, he created this Convoy system where it's like if one AI agent is struggling, it passes the task on down to someone else in the town, and it does whatever it feels like it's the best that it'll continue doing. But if there's something else, so these agents now are kind of like getting brains to where they know that they're going to be good at this or not good at this. So that it's really weird. I wonder how he's creating these, and if they're different during the creation process, or if they're just learning more or learning less. Very similar to how people are, to where it's like some of them are accelerating, and some of them are good at different stuff. So what do you think about that? What do you think about agents potentially saying, you're better at this than me, you take this on?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you would have to create like a evaluation type of part of the agent, but I think it's definitely possible, as these just AI is getting better and better with time. And the more that people build stuff like this, the more that it gets closer to it, because the AI learns, the models learn. And that's why Claude is like one of the best AIs, because like so many people have used it and built things with it. And so, yeah, I think this is awesome. I think it's interesting. And look, I mean, if Finn doesn't mess this up, this could be huge for Bags.
I mean, he doesn't have to do anything.
Right? Well, I'm just saying,
support the creators.
That's the thing, is that he has to show the support. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing. I think before it wasn't necessarily like that. And that's why a lot of people were complaining about it. But, you know, as long as he does that, man, I think he's good.
Yeah, and if he uses, I mean, he made a lot of money over the course of the last couple of days with Ralph and gas and stuff, because, you know, obviously he's getting a portion of that creator fee as well. If he can kind of put that back into here and kind of keep this going, yeah, we'll see. Ori is a Launchpad that launched on Bags, which I thought was weird, but they're their own Launchpad. Connor OnChain keeps talking about this one. He's very bullish on this one. They're migrating
kind of like it's like a weird like Solana virtuals a little bit starting to happen here, but like Bags branding doesn't fit that. but it doesn't matter, because like, you know, these people are these tokens are having success for sure.
Yeah, and virtuals doesn't do that no more either.
Yeah,
like you have to like go fill out an application now. It's not like you can just launch a token anymore. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's virtuals definitely grew up a bit, but Bags could take in. People love the old virtual style though, right? But Bags could actually come in now and be that. It's weird. It's like these Launchpads, they got to find their niche or their narrative, right? And if Bags can be that, you know, Claude AI Launchpad that rewards the people who write these repos on GitHub, I mean, this could be something huge. And this could, I mean, everyone can make money on this, and then they don't have to dump enough. That's the biggest part about Gastown. He doesn't have to dump the token. No one sent him a bunch of the token, and he needs to like put it in an LP pool to kind of make money, right? He can just sit back and collect the fees as they come in and just support the repo by working on it, and then everything else kind of just falls in line.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the meta, the vibe code meta starting to play out a little bit, and we'll see how long it continues. Because the thing about the vibe code meta stuff is that like people are going to continue that even if the token stuff like calms down. So this could last a long time. You know what I mean? In terms of a meta. So
it really could. It really could. So we'll see. Definitely looking for some other ones here, but remember, there probably is going to be some slop. I hate this word, tailwind. That's the one issue I keep having when I'm vibe coding, tailwind issue, and I always got to fix it. So I hate this one. I hope this one goes to 0. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But that is we got from there. And then the last thing in here is Satsman. Satsman.fun is launching. So I realized if I put my VPN on, Satsman works for me great. So I've been having issues lately with my computer, and the VPN actually helped out a lot. So definitely get a NordVPN if you guys don't have one. But Satsman is officially launching on Monday. Satsman is a partner of us, and we are very bullish on this team. And pretty much the number one reason why we even partnered with them in the beginning was we just know that their work ethic and stuff like that. But this is going to be an awesome Launchpad launching Monday. If you guys haven't etched your tokens yet, make sure you etch them, get them ready for Monday. I want to see some really cool stuff happening. We'll see. What do you think, man? What do you think about Satsman?
I think it's actually a better mechanism than Pump Fund, because you don't lose if the token doesn't bond, right? So, you know, if it doesn't mint out, then you get your BTC back. And so I think that's really awesome. And that is kind of like it follows the ethos of Bitcoin. And even though, you know, they are using like ICP to help scale it, that's the whole, you know, part of it being fun, is being able to be fast and all that stuff. And so, you know, obviously next week we're going to dive deeper into this. But yeah, head over to satsman.fun, try it out, test it out on Monday once it's live to the public. And, you know, if you're interested in trying to build a community and you have a legit community, reach out to us. I'd love to learn about your community that you're building. And I know they're the Omnity team, which is the team of devs and people behind this. They'd love to learn about them too. Because one thing I'll tell you about this is that, you know, the East loves to do these, you know, Bitcoin scaled environments. We saw that with Odin. and they're starting to love this too with Satsman.fun. So get over here before, you know, they start their WeChat groups and all that stuff and get really intense. And then next thing you know, you missed the next crypto berg, which went to 500 million. So yeah,
imagine that, man. Imagine putting $100 in that and I was watching that thing ride. So I think there's definitely going to be a crypto berg over here. And then, you know, they put out Rich Swap now has, you know, an update to where when you're going to originally, it would immediately go to Hope You Get Rich. Now it goes to the top trading token right now, which is ZZZ. It's kind of on a downward trend right now, but this thing's been up for a little while here. Definitely bullish on the first token here. This is the Ordi of Satsman. If you're interested in getting to that, head over to richswap.io, but check out the pools and everything. But they're about to have, in my opinion, once this launches, they're going to have tens of Bitcoin. I mean, you know, right now they have 7.6. They're probably going to have 17 by the end of next week. I think you're going to see tons of people here. And the Hope You Get Rich token is the utility token of Rich Swap. But that's all I really got on Rich Swap. Definitely looking forward to next week, and we're going to be covering it, making a video tutorial on how to do everything over there as well. But that's our show, guys. Really appreciate the few of you that are hanging out. I know X kind of messed us up today, but
yeah, it's all good. Definitely, you know, the comments kind of came in a little bit later, but that's okay. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do the show, and we are very thankful for that. But also, without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we greatly appreciate it. See, Stan and myself definitely showed up. Appreciate you guys. Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength to the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0 that guides you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, but also can guide you outside of the ecosystem. And they actually have the version 0.3 now. That's live. And so if you want to swap for Solana tokens or BNB tokens, you can do so through the Wizard. You just got to have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your wallet, and it will take care of that for you. Now, on the Merlin Chain side, it can do DeFi functionalities for you, like swapping and staking. And speaking of staking, it can stake for you with the 3 proof of stake security or the security model that you can be a part of, right? So there's 3 options for you guys to choose from with that. And the first one is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. And they just opened up their most recent staking vaults, and that goes until I think March. So you got about 3 months for that one. You know, they try to shoot for that 8 to 21%. Obviously, you know, they can't get that every single time, but the first time they got 17%. And then so they're going to try to shoot for that. And so you can check that out over there. It is locked up for 3 months though, but you do get paid out in Bitcoin. So that's really exciting. And then 2 options for the Merlin Chain token. The first one is the flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR on this one. You can claim your rewards every single day. If you want to withdraw your Merlin, there's a 7-day cooldown period, so know that. And then there's the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period. You earn 45% APR on that one, but it is locked up on for 6 months. But you can actually claim your rewards every single day with that one as well. So make sure you guys go check that out. Also follow them on X at Merlin Layer 2, as they always have great updates for their community. And then our most recent partner that we just talked about is Satsman.fun. Don't miss their launch to the public on Monday. You're going to be able to utilize and launch your own Bitcoin runes, as they are a launchpad for Bitcoin Layer 1 runes tokens. And, you know, create your own community. You could go over there, and also, you know, if you want to be a part of a token mint, you can participate. And if it doesn't mint out, you'll get your Bitcoin back. Also, you can etch these short-tailed ticker names that come out. Casey kind of set those up to be released, you know, drop a character as the blocks go through. So you can get one 30 days before it becomes available, and you can, or at least start bidding on it. So there's that. And then once these tokens actually do mint out, they will take the liquidity over to richswap.io, and that's where you can start participating with the AMM over there. So check it out. Make sure you guys, you know, let us know your feedback. We will be diving into this early next week as well, but we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep, great job, man. As always, you guys have a few more minutes. Wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone should entering space, please send them our website. If I help them get started and code up. You guys need a VPN. Make sure you use our link. Save, you know, $7 a month. Lock it in for 2 years. You get it for like $60. And then Ledger, if you guys are interested in a hardware wallet, check that out there as well. We got new articles popping up here every single day now, so definitely check these out. But guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until Monday.
Peace.
On-chain, 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 on-chain. On-chain revolution, roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control me. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. On-chain revolution.